Well, I'm pretty excited to be building on this thing. I've kind of wanted to do one of these for a long time. And if you watched my last video, we did a quick overlook on this case. And it's just for an ITX build that we're going to be putting on it. We're going to be putting this motherboard on here, which I already did a review on. One of these coolers, I'm not sure which one. We got a really small air cooler that I might put on it. I do have a stock Intel cooler. Or one of these two. I got a Dark Rock Pro 5 cooler or an A115 by Corsair. We have our motherboard, our CPU, our storage, and our RAM. No graphics card. I don't need a graphics card for this. We're just going to be running this plain Jane. The graphics card goes on the back anyway. You're not really going to be able to see it. But this is going to be kind of a cool little build. So if you want to stay around, check this thing out. Don't go anywhere. All right, first things first, we're gonna get our CPU installed here. And on the socket 1700, these things you always have to pop off. They don't pop off automatically. I think the new ones do with the 1851 socket. Anyway, we're gonna be putting, this is not gonna be really a tutorial on how to build, just kind of gonna watch me build this thing, put it together. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, we're gonna be putting in a 13500 in this. Nothing fancy. Drop that down and in. Get that situated. We got our CPU in. Let's go with storage next, shall we? This case does have the ability to put a 2.5 inch on the bottom. I don't really use those anymore too much. So the tape is already off this because I did do a review on this board if you want to go ahead and check it out. We're going to be using the Team Force G50. This is a 1 terabyte Gen 4. I think the speeds on this are only like 5,000 though. Yes, read speeds up to 5,000, write speeds 4,800. So it's the slower of the Gen 4, which is perfectly fine because we're going to be, you know, it's not going to be anything special. Oh, they give you a little sticker. Let's get this guy in here. And I do have to take the screw out. I kind of forgot already. And we're going to put it right back down. So here we're going to be putting in the Trident Z, trying to get to focus, Z5 RGB. This is, it runs at 6800 if you turn on XMP. But we're just going to go ahead and open these guys up. And get these things installed here. Okay, basically what's next is we got to mount this to this. That should fit there nicely like that. I'm going to lay this down. It'll be just a little bit easier, even though it's tipsy this way. It'll be just a little easier for me to get this all set and perfect. Yeah, see how it wants to just kind of come down towards me now? Oops. These screws are not magnetic for whatever reason, or my screwdriver is having an issue. Yeah, that's not fun. This last one is a little off, so I gotta loosen the other ones just ever so slightly so we can push it over. There we go. Get these tightened down. Alright, so far that's what it looks like. It looks pretty good, pretty sharp. We can install the power supply. This one actually came from Micro Center. This would be nice if it had a little handle.
Get our cute little power supply out here. Aw, isn't that cute? Look at that. It's adorable.
You have no choice but to have the fan facing upwards on this because there's no ventilation on this. So we're just going to slide this in just like that. And we're going to mount it with a couple of screws. This should have came with some screws in here somewhere. But You got to play hide and seek with it to see where they went. Cable. All of our cables. Our screws should be in here. But we're not going to need much in the way of cables go. This is CPU. We're going to need that. We need our 24 pin. Don't need that. Don't need that. 2 cables. Not bad. We got some Velcro here we may use. And in here, we got some zip ties. And our screws should be in this little guy, which we do. Whew! Why do they give you so many of them?
Why is there so many of these? Interesting. Usually they only give me 4, but I got 6. Okay.
Now I could have put the cables on first, but it's pretty open back here, so we shouldn't have a problem. Let's get our 24 pin installed. Yeah, maybe it would have been easier without this, but that's okay. We'll get it. We'll get it. All right, that's installed. Let's get our CPU one installed. I should have put the CPU one in first. That's gonna be the most difficult one. Ha! There we go, finally. Now there's a hole right here that we can come right out of. And actually this needs to be turned around. We'll turn it around like this. And then these are actually nice braided cables, so it'll give it a decent look. And I might even have some honeycomb for it to put on. There we go. Now we have our CPU, and finally we have our reset switch and power switch. That's all it comes with. And I guess we're gonna feed it right out through here. Wait, where is the reset power switch? This is in a different spot than normal. Oh, it's up there. Okay. Power switch. Reset switch. Well, it's power LED. All right. All right, so that's what it looks like now. I have this small one here, which I thought would be a little nicer, just keeping a small one on here. And I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think these are going to be pretty large for that. And it's going to take up too much room. But let's see what this looks like. All right, so brief look at the instructions. I'll put this kind of going this direction. And we have this rear bracket that's got some 3M adhesive, whatever. Actually, I do have to set it up to put this on. And this should be set up for 1700. There we go, perfect. And we'll just use that helper there that adheres to the back with the tape. And then we can set this down. And we got these brackets here. And I don't know which screws. I'm supposed to use the gray ones. It would be the gray. We're gonna put the screw down through here first. Let's see where these line up. This is honestly one of the worst kits I've ever used. And I just put it on upside down. Congratulations. That's installed. Now, it does come with some thermal paste. You're welcome to use that if you want, but I have some other stuff, which is right here. I just got some MX4 Arctic, and we're going to apply this. I do spread my thermal paste by hand with a rubber glove. A lot of people don't do this. There's only one other person that does this, and that's Carrie, and Carrie Holzman, that is. I don't know of anybody that does it this way. Alternate sides because you don't want to get too much pressure down on one side all at once. But it does need to start. I don't know why that's not starting. There we go. And just keep going back and forth. You know, 2-3 turns or whatever until it bottoms out. All right, guys, so here it is. Not much you could do with these cables, unfortunately, but that is what it is. Looks pretty good, pretty snazzy. Just a quick cable tie. This really can't go anywhere, so yeah, looks pretty good. Well, I guess we ought to see if this thing works, right? So let's get out the USB dongle here. We're going to plug it into... This does not have 2.0 ports on it, by the way. And then we're going to plug in the power. The switch on the power supply is off currently. We're going to plug that in. And then we're going to grab our HDMI cable for our display out. I will turn this around this way for you, and hopefully our power button is hooked up correctly. What else do we need? Is that it? We're just going to be looking for a signal up here, and away we go. So let's turn our power supply on. And do we get any lights on the motherboard? I don't know if this displays anything. Doesn't look like it does. All right, fan is spinning. Power supply fan just spun. We did hook up our power LED correctly on that. And we shouldn't have anything on this. This is a brand new drive, so I'm going to grab my Windows as soon as we see a boot or a post. So right now it is training the RAM and looking at the CPU and all the combinations that it has to acquire a signal. We could have a problem with this cable being connected too, so I have to be patient about that. All right, so since I did not see anything, I'm going to switch my input to my capture card to number 2, which is I think what I had it originally at. And let's just see if we something did change there. We lost the logo. There we go. Okay, so it may have been a problem with the graphics card. I don't know, maybe I didn't wait long enough. Or not the graphics card, but my capture card. So anyway, we are in the BIOS. I do believe this is the latest BIOS, but I'm going to give this a check. It's 14.01 is the current BIOS that's on this. Let's go ahead and see if there is a updated BIOS. Let me get out of the full screen view. This is... Let me open up a Windows tab here and get away from there. This is, I forget what motherboard this is. This is the ASRock. And let me go grab, because I can't remember exactly what board this is. All right, so I forgot I did not get a motherboard box for this. This came in just a normal box because I bought it secondhand. So what we have to do is I have to look for my purchase on this. Right here, it's a ASRock Z790 PG ITX TB4. And our latest BIOS is 15.01. So we are going to get that. We're going to download that right now. I've got my USB thumb drive that we're going to be using. I'm going to put that in the Dark Dragon right now. And since it's already downloaded, we can go ahead and close out of that. We're going to open up our File Explorer. I know I'm not recording any of this through OBS right now, but just kind of bear with me on that. Now we have the BIOS on here. I'm going to stick it in any USB port back here. We got instant flash right down here. And this is just going to do a reboot, and actually it already sees it. 1501, look at that. Look how quick that was. I love that. Now it should go into updating. And do not power off during the UEFI BIOS update. Just walk away, do what you got to do, then come back to it. If you're going to watch it, don't touch the keyboard. Don't do anything. Just watch it. All right, look at that. I was just stepping in as it was going, and we're going to reboot the system now, and this may go through a process of a couple of reboots. So you're welcome to leave the USB drive in that you you know, put in there, or you could take it out now. Really doesn't matter. But sometimes I just like to take it out because it's already done. It's already copied over the file. Again, after you're done, and this is going through it's going through the process of rebooting, it can take 2, 3, 4, even 5 times to reboot and update other things. So be very, very patient. There's the first reboot. We could see that took probably about 30 seconds just to see something on the monitor. And we can clearly see right up there that we are at 15.01 now, 15.01. So our BIOS is up to date. The only other thing we can do is load the default settings, or even, well, I'm not going to turn on, what do you call it yet? Let's see. Let's see if we, usually if we go to exit and then load UEFI defaults, we want to load those. Then we are going to save the changes and exit. Now, here's the time where we can install Windows. Okay, we have Windows 11 now. Let's just go ahead and turn that back on. Let's push our power button. There we go. Now at this point, it's just going to go through and it's going to get us into Windows. I'm not going to bore you with this, so we're just going to cut to the chase and get into Windows and then do our updates and we're done. At this point, I'm just pulling out the Windows 10 or Windows 11 USB media. I'm going to plug in my Ethernet and get these updates done. I really don't have to do anything else on camera except show you quickly. I just need to establish communication here, which it should do soon. This globe down here should turn into a little like screen looking thing, like an Ethernet cable. And we're just looking for that. Once that is said, then we can do our updates. But I'm just looking for this to connect. It's kind of funny, it should have connected by now. I don't know quite what's going on. Okay, so it looks like we still do not have internet down here. I am still trying to figure out what is going on here. What we're going to do here is go over to our device manager and see, we're missing Ethernet controller. Okay, so what we're going to do is use the main computer. All right, so let's open up a Windows here. Let's go right back to this website. Oop, not Amazon. We wanted ASRock. And then we're going to go to support. We're going to go to download. And I'm looking for in here something to do with the Intel, or right here, the killer WAN and LAN driver. That's what I believe we need. Okay, so let's download that. Okay, so now that I have some stuff on here that we can use, let's see if this will work. I'm surprised that that did not work, but let's open, oops, wrong mouse. Let's get this opened up. This PC, D drive, this killer, and this should be an executable file. And we're going to install. And you can see right there down at the bottom corner, look at that. Now we have internet connection. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? We're still waiting for this to complete the installation. We may even have to restart it, but we'll see what it says, if anything. There it goes. Okay, yes, restart my computer now. So we will go ahead and let it restart so we can implement those drivers, but it did look like everything is working perfectly good. We're going to remove our USB now, because we don't need that anymore. This is one of those more rare occasions where you actually need to install some sort of either the Wi-Fi driver or the Ethernet/LAN driver. In this case, that's what we had to do, unfortunately. But that's the only thing that doesn't make PC building easy for new people, is they don't know how to go and grab that kind of stuff. All right, so instantly we got Wi-Fi, or excuse me, LAN. So we are connected to the internet. And basically what we want to do now is go ahead and grab, because we have, if we go back to the device manager, we can see we have all these opened items for PCIe, and looks like maybe a USB bus, stuff like that. So we should be able to get those through the Windows Update. And we're just going to go ahead and check for any updates right now and get those installed. So before we go, I just realized that some of the stuff in the device manager is still not there. So we're missing drivers. And I wanted to cover a little bit of that before we wrap this video up. So let's get back over to the computer just for a second and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, if I open up the device manager down here, let's open this up, and we can see we're missing other devices, PCIe and SM bus controller, universal serial bus controller. So what I went and did is I downloaded from the website of ASRock. It's the, let me just show you here. I'll just move this out of the way. We'll close this for right now. I went ahead and downloaded the driver installer, and we're going to see if this takes care of the issue that's going on here. We're going to auto start this. I already extracted the file, by the way, so we're just going to see if this helps out any of the issues going on here. Looks like the Thunderbolt controller, that's probably going to solve a bunch of stuff. Okay, so yes, we want to install all these. Let's click on update. And instead of going through these one by one and installing them yourself, the system actually does it for you, which is pretty nice. Okay, the installation is successful. For further drivers and utilities, please enter BIOS setup manually to enable audio driver installer function. Interesting. Okay, so we should restart the PC again. Let's just check on it. I just want to see if anything took care of it. Look at that, they're all gone. And that's what we're talking about. Let's just restart it once. All right, so now we can get to the end of the video. I was actually going to end it right before this, but now the end of the video. Roll tape. I'm happy with this little thing. Ooh, power supply is a little warm. Not hot, but just a little warm, that's all. Anyway, this is a cool little thing. So I'll leave all the parts to this in the description down below if you want to build something like that. And I don't know, maybe one of these might have looked good on it, better than the small one, but this works perfectly fine. Till next time, guys, take care.